Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here. And I am talking to you on Sunday, November 19th, 2017 at 22:25 in the evening Eastern Time. A little after me talking to you earlier in the evening on the same day. Only I used kind of a set piece camera setup, I'm doing this on my laptop with my 12 megapixel webcam that's included in my MacBook Pro, mid 2014. By the way, that's probably one of the best computers ever made. Pache Dell guys with Windows machines. And you know who you are. I've seen you use yours too, by the way. Yeah. I'm going to hear about that, I'm sure. Now, if you think back, those of you who kind of watch me as like a soap opera, there's probably not too many of you, but some people do. I know they do. They don't leave comments. They're there though. I know they're there. I hope they're there. And yeah, I actually had a thought here, guys. I had a thought. Now, it might come back to me. So, I called my son, texted, and then it turned into a call, a FaceTime thing. And we talked for quite a while. We talked about an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes. My grandson's had his new third grade picture taken. He's in third grade. Okay, so it had to be his third grade picture, but it's different than the picture that he took last year, which is also a great picture. So he's had two good pictures taken, and unlike the style of the pictures of kids a couple of years ago, particularly when they were like in kindergarten or first grade, where they go, I'm convinced that's why that guy in Washington State, that kid in Washington State got killed, because nobody wants to see a kid going. So somebody just offed him because of that. Carlo, now he looks very funky with his hair. He looks like a YouTube stud. And of course, he's got a YouTube channel, and he actually did a nice video today on his YouTube channel. Not one of those gaming crap called Ruppy Plays. Well, that's his intro, which is like a thug white trash intro. I wish he'd change that. Of course, means he won't change it because people want him to change it. But it's just so disheartening to see him do that. Meanwhile, though, when he doesn't do the gaming crap, he does nice stuff, and it was today. This thing's healing very nicely. It's just you still have that 3D feel. It'll be another while, but I'm very happy with this. Okay, I've said that repeatedly, but I better be happy with it, shouldn't I? Huh? I've paid enough for all three of these. $200 a piece plus sales tax. So, an update on my ex-wife. I talked to my son. He sort of like getting sort of like a beat by beat thing from his mother over there. Sounds like Riverside's doing a pretty good job by her. And if people, if she gets out of Riverside without a staff member committing criminal, felonious assault on her because she's been such a pain in the ass, then all these people need gold stars because I'm sure she's very challenging. And I say that in all love. I said in all peace and love. I lived with this woman for many, many years. Many, many years. I was married to her for 7 years. Well, no, that's not true. I was married to her for 5 years. Well, 6 years. I lived with her, functionally lived with her for 9 years. My poor folks didn't know what I was doing. I was, living one of many lies. Thank you very much. Just another subset of being gay, guys. Just another subset of being gay. In any case, the accident turned out to be a great accident, and the accident turned out to have a great son. And I wouldn't change anything. Well, I would have changed sort of how to do it, Well, no, I wouldn't have changed because I wouldn't have electively chosen to do it that way. But I'm not griping. I promise you, in about 3 days, this thing's going to look a lot better. If it's not, I'm going to cut it off. But I'm 8 days into this experiment, so we'll see. I go through this every year. I usually just don't show it to you. I don't know, maybe I did. I have to go back and review. Well, that's a bit of prologomania. I told you I read and all that. So, today Tony Pitcham and I talked, and we got carrying on as we do. Maybe not quite carrying on as much as Tony Ballman and I do, because Tony Pitcham is far more prosaic. I mean, he doesn't really like to be silly, which is probably what really, what I really liked about him to start with. And that's how you start being friends. And when I try to become friends with somebody, the few times I've tried to actually become friends with somebody, I try to be non-silly. Well, hell, I mean, shit. Who isn't silly from time to time? I don't know. Maybe. Well, I know there's a number of people that are. Tony can be silly from time to time. I know he can be. Anyway, so we got yakking, and he's putting his, he got pissed off and he deleted all these videos. He didn't privatize them; he deleted all of them, and now he's putting them back up. Okay, well, good. I'm glad because they're, I like them. They're good. They need to be out there, and we got to talk about great Norman Rockwell painting. Well, I got to talk about great Norman Rockwell paintings, and he suffered me to say stuff for a while. And my favorite idea I came up with. Now, of course, I've talked about a number of things before, and I think I've mentioned them on these videos. Things like touching himself. Where the dad's kind of looking in and the teenage son's doing this. And, of course, in my case, which actually happened, is like, caught swallowing his friend's load. Now that's one you really need to have on Norman Rockwell. It was my dad looking in, but that actually happened. I was 14. Freeze frame that for all eternity. Yeah, no kidding. He never said a word. For those of you who are coming to me for the first time. And then, but what we were thinking about, because Advent's coming up and so forth, which really, actually, technically, what I'm going to reference is way outside the Advent season. As I thought, the great man, I've aged in the last 2 years. I really have. That's okay though. We all do. And so this guy was the angel Gabriel stops for a Big Mac on the way to the Annunciation. Now, I thought that would be a great title for a Norman Rockwell painting. The angel Gabriel stops for a Big Mac, or if it's early in the morning, maybe an Egg McMuffin, a sausage McMuffin on the way to the Annunciation. We're never really told when Mary got announced to. We sort of assume it's like, mid-late afternoon, something like that. Maybe a little bit after lunch. Or, maybe she offered Gabriel a snack afterwards. We don't know. Maybe, and I made some notes with Tony. It says, ambulance stopped. Now, I think there's an ambulance going by his house or something. It's an ambulance stop. But I really think Norman Rockwell missed the boat there by not doing his own version of the Annunciation. Like the Annunciation in a hamburger shop of some variety. He may have been, I'm sure, he started painting, I think, before there were McDonald's. Remember there was a time before McDonald's? Actually, I do. I remember when my sister first told me about these McDonald's. She says, people at school at Ohio State, she went up there in 61 after I was talking about this hamburger joint from California, and okay, what? So after that, I made it a point to, they used to keep a count of how many hamburgers they've sold underneath the thing. And once it got, then it got to like billions sold, so then I stopped looking. But the only reason I looked at all was because my sister, noticed it or had been told about it right from the get-go from, friends of hers in school. The angel Gabriel stops for a Big Mac on the way to the Annunciation. I wonder if the angel Gabriel bypassed the guy caught touching himself on the way to talk with Mary. It's a good thing she said yes too, although I imagine if she had said no, he would have just moved on to somebody else who would have said yes. And so then we'd be, it might be like, hail Letitia, or hail Ashonda, or hail, well, I'm not into that Hail Mary stuff anyway, because I'm not a Roman Catholic, but they'd have to have a different hail so-and-so on that thing, and so it'd be like salve, salve, insert name of individual here, I'm not making fun. My son teaches Roman Catholic religion. I'm a Christian. A very Orthodox Christian in terms of belief. But, come on. Ambulance stopped. I don't know. I think that's going to have to remain a mystery. Then we have, linguistic dishonesty, gay cake bakers and Christian cake bakers, and writing on cakes, and then messages, and then the Civil Rights Act of, well, I don't know, there's assumptions or something. So this gets into the whole thing about gay marriage and allowing gay marriage. I wish there was another word for it in English, but there's not. And I've discussed that extensively before. I don't have any problem with the idea of that sort of legal relationship or personal relationship. That doesn't trouble me. I think it'd be nice to have a different word for it, but of course, the point that the gay folks, well, I'm gay, I mean, the gay activists make is that to select a different word, well, and actually, it agrees with my point. Is like to select a different word implicitly says that it's a different category of something than marriage. And of course, what they want is marriage. Okay, fine. Well, and I told you I'd marry this guy. I'd marry this guy in Australia in a heartbeat. I would. I'd marry this guy in Australia in a heartbeat. I've never felt that way before about anybody. But so I understand that. But call it what it is. I mean, it's not the same sort of. Well, as a gay man, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not the same sort of feeling to a person you love. First time I loved somebody was this guy from Australia. I lusted over a lot of people. I certainly lusted over Paul. But I love this guy. And it's a different class of fish. And I'm sure that guys that fall in love with women that they marry, it's the same class of intensity. No. English, unfortunately, is not going to provide an equivalent word that conveys the same linguistic intensity of marriage. So it's not going to do. So we may as well use marriage. I've come to conclude that. I'd marry this guy. I would marry this guy. I never thought I'd ever say that, but I would marry this guy. Okay, I said that. Okay. Now, then we get into the idea about, some people can opt out of providing services for various weddings and stuff. Well, I'll tell you right now, if you have a sort of a, half-baked idea of your Christianity, and that's fine, I'm a Christian. You know that. I read in church. I try to help folks. I try to do all the right thing. I know that I'm a sinner and by grace only saved. And if I were a gay baker, I'd gladly bake a cake for a gay couple. I'd bake a cake for a straight couple, But if I were, some guy that was very insecure in my faith, that didn't want to bake a cake for a gay couple, okay, fine, go. Anybody can bake a fucking cake. Go buy some boxes of cake mix and bake a cake and some icing and make your own cake. Hell, you're gay. You're supposed to be clever and creative, Really. And for the Christian bakers, well, that was the Christian baker. And if you're a gay cake baker and you have a particularly obnoxious straight couple come in, now that doesn't narrow it down too much, I know. Sometimes, not always, sometimes. Uh, and you want to refuse to serve them for whatever reason, like, oh, you're straight, or more to the point, you're assholes. And sometimes, I'm sure sometimes they felt that way. They should be allowed to refuse that too. Now, you get down to the thing about public accommodation, and that gets into like, how many rooms are public accommodation? A couple of rooms in a boarding house or bed and breakfast, is that public accommodation? Something that bills itself as a hotel, that's certainly public accommodation. There shouldn't be any discrimination allowed there at all. You get in these gray areas, and I don't know what the various civil rights acts are in other countries, but in the U.S. you get, it's like, I think when you get down below 2 rooms, you're allowed to, but you aren't really allowed to say what the real reason is, which promotes it. See, and this is the real point. That promotes intellectual dishonesty, which is starting to pervade all public discourse. I'm going to run through that thing again. This promotes intellectual dishonesty that is starting to pervade all public discourse. Now, as much as you find certain parts of public discourse onerous, and there's a lot of it's horribly onerous, at least be honest about stuff. It used to be like, oh, they're using euphemisms. No, they're not using euphemisms. They're just stating stuff that is flat out contrary, to factual truth a lot of times. Meanwhile, Thomas and I, my son and I, had fairly significantly long FaceTime, which is a treat for me, of course. And he told me about his mother's progress, and God bless her. They tried to get her out of bed at 1 in the morning, and she told him to go fuck off, which sounds like her. And of course, they wanted. They were actually waiting to see what she said. Ideally, they wanted to get up, but I think basically they were waiting to see. She told him to go fuck off, to see what her underlying attitude was. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you do when you're taking care of somebody that they don't realize that that might seem onerous to them. Actually, they don't really realize that that's what you're trying to do, to help them. So, and he said he's going to get on this passport situation as fast as possible. He said he's going to get on this passport situation as fast as possible. Yeah, well, I'm sure he is. That's what he said. That's what he's going to do. So, my grandson actually put up a fairly reasonable video today without him, doing this gaming crap. So I enjoyed watching that. I may have mentioned it. I'll mention it again. It's nice to see him do something. Where, well, he still used the intro, which is makes him look like a white thug, white rapper thug, which I find demeaning to him, and frankly, anybody associated with him. Of course, he could probably use the same argument about me too. Maybe I don't know. Should I get him a St. Cuthbert tattoo for Christmas? Yeah, run that by his dad. Should I get a St. Cuthbert tattoo for Carter for his Christmas present? No, I don't think so. we'll hold that off for another 12 years. His mother and dad are going to be shitting right now. I know they are. I don't know, maybe not. They're going to be laughing and giving you the finger, probably. But that's okay. I meant that in all peace and love, as I always do. Anything I say here. Alrighty, I'm going to say I'm almost starting to look pretty good. You know, in 2 weeks, I'm going to look like a damn wise man. Or a stupid ass fool. One of the two. So I'll say bye-bye, YouTubers.